Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. Okay, so I've been resisting, and what you resist persists. So I've been resisting this new Facebook Live platform that they have. I don't like it. I really don't like it. Um, but the Facebook notifications say basically tough noogies and that I have to get used to it. So if you have this Toby, if you haven't met Toby yet, hey, look over there. Look over there. Say hi. Toby. He's like, that's really great, Mom. I just want to go in my drawer. Um, so if you haven't, see, he goes in your drawer. There's Toby. So if you have some, hi, Jennifer, I love you. Mwah. So if you make us in the house, so if you have any tips or anything like that about how to make this thing less confusing to me, I really appreciate it. On my end, the video is going, it's like glitching and it's like making like I don't know, it's like flashing and it's very disconcerting to me. So if hopefully that's not doing that for you. If it is, please let me know. But it just kind of does this like flash thing and it's very disconcerting. So like I said, hopefully that's not doing that for you. But if you have some tips on if anybody knows how to use this new Facebook Live thing, I would really be very grateful because I don't like it. Okay, so, but you know, we know change is inevitable. Hey, Kevin! Virginia. So we know change is inevitable and we're just going to keep muddling on through and I'll just keep trying to ignore the fact that my face is going, ah. So we are now in the Pluto retrograde. Oh, thank you, Kevin, for saying that. Thank you very much. That makes me feel so much better. It's still very disconcerting on my end, but thank you. So we are in the Pluto retrograde and people give like, poor Pluto gets a really rough rap. People are like, yes, Pluto is a planet. I want to be very clear about that. Pluto is a planet. But people get, Pluto gets a bad rap, I think, because people think it's way out there, that because it's way out there, it doesn't really affect us. And that is not the case because even though it's small, we know little things can be very mighty, small and mighty. And so Pluto is in retrograde right now, and it is going to be a time of tremendous expansion from the littlest planet, which I think is just fantastic. So this is the time, and just look around and you'll know that this is the truth. We're in now this time of intense transformation. Pluto's going to stay in retrograde all the way until the beginning of October. Pluto's going to stay in retrograde. So this is going to be a time of intense shifting. Duh, right? Like I don't need to know anything about astrology to know about that. But Pluto is going to be the time of intense shifting as people are starting to come out of the dark. Now maybe they should, maybe they shouldn't. Depends on where you live. We're still locked down here in Florida, and until Disney says it's safe. Really, that's to me that's the barometer of Orlando. If Disney's open, we'll talk. But so really this is going to be this time of intense transformation, and I had this real you know, we've seen this already, this time of intense transformation. We've already been in it, but now this is the next phase, and all of this has been leading up to the new earth revelation that we're going to have as we emerge from this darkness, from this quarantine, and we move into a new definition. People are talking about getting back to normal. There is no normal. Whatever it was is not going to be. And so we're moving into a new construction. And so we've had this emotional roller coaster, right? Where we saw the disease coming and people were freaking out, and we, you know, had to, the panic buying. And here we're sort of used to that with hurricanes, where people just rush out to the store and they buy up everything they can get their hands on because they don't know how long they may be without power or water in a hurricane. And people were having that same mentality and, you know, rushing out to buy everything in that panic, and then the hunker down, and then they're set in the grief. They're set in that grief of what have we lost? The normalcy, the freedom, the flexibility, the security, the faith in our government being able to do or not do the right things, the faith in our leadership, whether that's local or state or federal leadership, and really having that frustration and confusion. And then people started to get into resignation. And to get into that place of, well, this is what it is, and we're working it out as stimulus checks came in and people started to understand they were furloughed, how much money did they have, how long could they hold out, where were additional sources of income going to come from, and the panic started to subside for some, and panic started to kick in for others. And we had, Kevin, I have to say, it's like the flashing has calmed down. It's still there, but it's calmed down a lot with the magical medium powers. So as people started to calm down, hey, Judy, as people started to calm down and really sort of settle in, we had this period of grief, and the people going within were the cocooning of, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to talk to anybody. And then now we have the people coming back out through Zoom and Facebook Lives and all the amazing things that have been presented and created on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, the offerings of artists, the offerings of amazing people with incredible gifts, sharing their talents, really connecting our world in such a new way, in a beautiful way. And people started to reach out, little tendrils to reach out of, where can I learn? What can I learn? How can I improve myself? What can I do better? What can I bring to myself in this time of cocoon that I can bring my, some gifts, some talent, some education, some learning that I can better myself. People cleaning out their houses. That was like the first thing people were like, I'm cleaning out my closet. I'm like, okay, if that's the first place you want to be. And people really looking at what they could do for themselves, and then also what they could do for others. It was so interesting to watch. Some segments of our society went in and into the cleaning out of the closets and the kitchen and cleaning out of the head and the computers and really cleaning all the space away. And other people really immediately reached out into communities. What can I offer? What can I give? Here's my gifts, my talents. And I think it was just such a beautiful thing to sort of watch the yin and the yang of our society as we've moved through this really tumultuous time. So now that we're into the Pluto retrograde, we're going to continue to see that yin and yang moving as we are moving into the next phase, which is going to include the reopening of our societies in phases and in steps and new realities that are going to come into play with that. And again, we're going to see people who are like, F that, I'm not doing that, I look stupid, I'm not wearing a mask. And other people will be like, I don't care what I look like, I want to be healthy. And so we're going to continue to see this yin and yang of people who are going to be all about me, and then other people who are going to be all about, the internal versus the external. And there is the yin and the yang, because when we've talked about this if you follow me at all, I've talked about this for years, that fracturing of the rising of the light and the rising of the dark, and the people who are holding on to the dark and the status quo, they are gripping on for dear life to get back to what I want to get back to normal. And those of us here, we understand there is no normal. There was no normal. There's nothing to get back to. We're only going forward to what's next. And so when you have those people who are holding on for dear life to what they know and what was familiar, they're the people who are going to be like, I want to get back to normal. I'm not wearing a mask. I'm just going out and living my life. And they're the people who are protesting in the streets. I have opinions about that. If you follow me at all, you know what my opinions are. And then we're going to have the other people who are the rising of the light, and more people coming into the light, more and more people coming and seeing that this is part of a larger transformation. A lot of conspiracy theories out there too. It's interesting. If you're doing some reading in the outer fringes and whatnot, but we're seeing that. And so of course Pluto's in retrograde, and we're going to be in this retrograde, like I said, until the beginning of October. And this is so much the time of deep transformation. And it's not just about deep personal transformation, but it's about the transformation of society. And really, as we start talking about emerging from these cocoons, one of the questions that we want to ask is, what have we learned? What lessons do we want to carry with us as we go forward into a new evolution of society? What things are important? What things are not important? What things do we want to release? Where is the bullshit that we no longer want to deal with and say, this is not important to me. I don't want to carry this forward into my new evolution. What things are important that I'm willing to stand and fight for myself, for my society, for my family? What do we want collectively the new world to look like? Because really, make no mistake, it is up to us. When we come out of quarantine, it will be a new world, and it's going to take time. I guess some people who are calling me saying, well, I want, like it's a switch. And we've talked about this again. If you follow me at all, I talk about this. Energy is not a switch. Energy builds up, energy breaks down. Okay. It builds up, it breaks down. Okay. So we know it never goes away. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. We know that from physics and quantum physics and all kinds of physics. Physics is physics. Energy is energy. It's not going anywhere. It just changes shape. So energy builds up. So as we are, building up now with people are like getting antsy to get outside, it's going to take time for it to settle in to what is going to be that new, what will become our new normal. It's not going to be what it was, but it's going to become our new normal, what will become normal for us a year from now. But it really is going to take a while for that to settle in and be able to have a new, where we're comfortable with a new definition of normal. Hi, Karen. So having said all of that, I wanted to bring in, and I'm going to get to cards of the week, and if you have questions, please feel free to throw them out there. But one of the things that I have been, and I sat down the other day and I made a list, like I've done a lot of stuff during this quarantine time. What have I done? So I literally sat down and make a list of all the things that I have done, made, the books I've read, the goals, I, cleaned out this, or I, had a fitness goal. I had I was taking some online classes. Like I realized I have done a lot of stuff. It's been very busy over here, which is fantastic to really make the use of the time. And it's just been, there's parts of quarantine that have been a blessing. There are parts of quarantine that have really been a challenge. And I know that we can all say that. I'm sure we can all say that. But when you have a situation like this, it becomes up to us whether we choose to see blessings and opportunities, or we choose to see what we've lost and to really dwell in that place. And if you look for the loss and the challenge and the frustration, I promise you'll find it. It's so easy to find it. But if you're looking for the blessings, you will find those too. You might have to look a little harder, but you'll find those too. And so I was so excited to see the list of things that I've done, the online classes. I love to crochet. I haven't crocheted in years because who had time? And so I created time, and I have made almost done with 3 projects in this time, and have loved working on them. Spent some really quality time with my kids, read countless books, listened to speakers online that I've never had the chance to listen to. I have a backlog of online classes I have paid for and never had the chance to sit down and go through, and I'm working on that. So it's really, there's been blessings in it. And what's so fabulous, and I talk about this a lot, thank you for that, Kevin. Thanks for letting me know that. That would be because I have 2 kids in the house who are either doing online classes, haha, or have 2 Xboxes going. So if my video is going in and out, I do so apologize. The Wi-Fi will only stretch so far when the boys are awake and on 2 separate Xboxes. So having my boys home has been one of the blessings, and really getting the opportunity to spend some quality time with them. So again, if you're looking for the blessings, you will find them. But if you're looking for the part that's crap, you're going to find that too. I got 3 dogs. You can always find dog poop in the yard if you're looking for it. So it's up to us how we choose to handle this transition, which is not to say, and I'm not trying to put rose-colored glasses or be all Pollyanna about it, because energy can be a bear. I mean, we all came through that full moon cycle earlier this month, and wow, did that suck. So there are definitely going to be days that are going to be easier to deal with than others, but it's up to us again to understand all things work together for good. And when we know that the universe has our back, and that even the stuff that's difficult is going to work for our benefit, then in the end, everything is working for our benefit. So one of the things, I know I got off on a little tangent, I got all excited. One of the things that I have been excited about is, many of you know I love Colette Baron-Reid, and she had created the Goddess Power Oracle deck, and I'm telling you what, I have had this deck for over a year. I use it in the women's groups that I facilitate, and I have yet to have the time to really sit down and dive into these cards. And there was, there's the book and the cards, and then there was also a supplement that was some of the history of these goddesses, and I just loved that. I was so fascinated by it. No time. So one of the things that I made as a priority was to go through all these cards and really get to know this deck. And so I thought, wouldn't it be nice, as we are in a Pluto retrograde, wouldn't it be nice to be able to really grab onto this goddesses and really invite one in and see what's going on. And I really want to share, this is about the Pluto retrograde, because I want to connect with how these things are connected, because, you know, all things work together for good. So during this intense transformation period in the retrograde, we overcome deep fears, we eliminate habits that are limiting to us and that are not serving our highest good, are self-sabotaging. We all have a lot of can have those self-sabotaging patterns that have been with us for so long, and this quarantine has given us the opportunity to really do a reset on a lot of stuff. And so this is really the opportunity that we have to change so much as our planet, literally, the planet is recalibrating. If you follow the Schumann resonance at all, the Schumann resonance up until this quarantine was like pegged, you know, to the top, to the bottom, and it's an instrument that measures the energy signature of our planet, and it's, you know, been rising over the last several decades, but over the last few years it's been rising much more dramatically. At the same time, the North Pole of our planet is shifting, and that's been getting, you know, continues to go a couple inches, and it has also been shifting much more dramatically. So right now we have the Schumann resonance that's just pegged, and it's so interesting to watch as the humans have been getting out of the way, that Mother Nature is recovering herself. I mean, the air is getting better. The wildlife, we saw a blue heron in my yard the other day, and we got a lot of birds around here, but I've never had a blue heron here. We get those up at the park when we go up to where the manatees are. We see them all the time, but I've not seen one down here. Right in my front yard, grabbed the lizard out of my bushes right out my window, and we watched him for a few minutes as he figured out how to get the lizard like this to get him and go bye-bye lizard. But it's really just absolutely amazing to watch. And even just today, there was a serious but funny article about alligators and road rage, because it is alligator mating season here in Florida. There's a lot of alligators, and the alligators, because there are no people about, are getting much more curious about coming into people's yards. And alligators are not fearful of humans. They will come in, especially if you live on water and they know you have a little dog. They have been known to come right up on front porches. They have been known to come through dog doors when they can smell a snack, so that the people are not out and about, and the alligators are getting bolder. It's a little like, it's scary, because my friend calls them murder logs, and I totally agree with that, because they really have no fear, because they have no real predators. So it's really right now in the mating season, as they're getting more frisky, it's a little bit about the alligators. So, which I thought was really hilarious, because here is the card that I picked for today, is what is it that we need to know from the goddesses? Which goddess needs to speak with us today? And this is Rhea, okay? And this is Rhea. She is the Greek goddess about flow and ease, okay? So when she comes in, she comes to let you know that everything is okay and that things are flowing as they're supposed to. It says that when she comes in, the flow state is not a permanent. For most people, it's a beautiful feeling that allows you to lose yourself in the rhythm. It's as if you're traveling down a magic stream where ideas and insights pour through you from a vast source of information that's gifted to you. And the way to ensure that we remain in this beautiful energy is to observe life with relaxed attention, listening to the guidance that is presented to us as we move forward without restraint or fixed ideas, which means that when we are going forward, as we are coming into contemplation of what do we want our new normal to look like as we begin to emerge from the cocoon of quarantine, Rhea is here to guide us with flow, taking this time of quietude, of growth and relaxation, physical rest, mental rest. We live in such a loud world that this of quiet has been so welcome, to really allow ourselves to recalibrate as the planet is recalibrating. That Rhea is here to remind us that everything is okay and that everything is flowing in the way that it is supposed to. And as we go forward into the next iteration of our society, what do we want it to look like? And when we can take our ego out of the way and take that box, right? We think in the box, take away the box and let things flow. Things can be so much more fruitful. I got to tell you, even when I find it for myself, because I am human, when I get worried about this or that, usually my kids, like my older one's supposed to graduate college in 2 weeks, and I'm like, and it's a little nerve-wracking because I can't control everything, and I can't, if it was me, I would be like, look, go to bed at a reasonable time, get up, do your homework, write your papers, do your presentations, do all this stuff, get it done. But I know that's not exactly what's happening on that side of the house, but he's 22 years old and he knows what he needs to do. And I trust him to be responsible, even though he's not doing it the way I would necessarily do it. So it's a little, that control mama part of me is a little, but when we can release that, and so I know I can be like that in other aspects of my life when something is fearful or something is concerning me. And when I can release those things, it is amazing how blessings and things will come in from places I didn't even realize. Like I never would have thought that would have happened. And then amazing blessings can come when we can relax and let the cogs of the universe flow freely. It's like the gears on your bicycle when they're not on alignment right. You have the chain is going car, car, car as you're trying to change gears on a bicycle. But when it's flowing and the pedals are moving and the chain is smooth and you want to switch gears and it just jumps right over and things are smooth. When we can relax, things go smoother. So that's the first thing. Okay, so let's grab some cards and find out what else we need to know for this week in the universe. If you have questions, I would love for you to type them in the comments. I'm so happy to answer anything that I can. We're working more psychically than mediumistically, so if you're looking for a mediumship question, that won't be today. But if you have a psychic question, I am so happy to answer however I can. And we'll start with first card. So, okay, so again, if you follow me, you see themes. So here we are, the ever unfolding rose, and we saw her show up last week too. She's been making her presence known a lot, and the ever unfolding rose is all about trusting the universe that all things are working together for good, that all things are moving forward, the cogs of the universe are working, and allowing for that to be what is, putting our faith in that knowing that everything is okay. So then we have, Star Mother. So this is Star Mother, and underneath of it, it says, how can you mother yourself? Now, not only do I love this because we have Mother's Day coming up, and also I was just speaking about one of my experiences of being a mother, but we're talking about self-care, and we're also talking about self-discipline. When we're talking about the Star Mother, we're talking about listening and trusting that divine guidance and really allowing, not the control freak part of us, but allowing the discipline of okay, we've been in quarantine and maybe we ate too much ice cream and watched too much Netflix for the first week or so, or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever your story is, with no judgment ever, because we all have to do what we need to do to get through the times that we're living in. And we don't shame ourselves and we don't judge ourselves, and we try not to judge others. Now that I will judge things in our government, but that's a whole nother conversation. But we try not to judge ourselves because this quarantine is challenging for everyone in its own way, and our experiences are not going to be the same. And so Star Mother comes to remind us to be kind to ourselves, but also to get your backbone on, to get your discipline on of what do you need to do. So not sleeping, and I love that I gave this example of my son sleeping to, yesterday I didn't see him until 5 o'clock. So I know that they're like looping around. It's like they're on Mars time. I know they're looping around, staying up all night playing video games and watching movies and sleeping all day. And then they get up to do their classwork and stuff for the online college. So I know that they're responsible and they're getting it done. And so they have that discipline. That's that Star Mother of getting your shit done of what you need to do, but also to have that backbone that says, okay, I am an adult. And I am the one that is in control of my world, in control of my life. I had this conversation with a girlfriend of mine earlier today, and we were talking about the things that had happened for her in the last 5 years or so. And there was a divorce, and there was a life-threatening illness before that, and then there was a lawsuit, and there was this, and there was that. And it's like, okay, all these different things. I said, but do you understand how all these different things, now looking back on it, where you are in a place of, thank God, good health and good financial health and emotional freedom, can you look back on it and see how all of these things happened because you brought them into your life, because you created that scenario, and that all of these things happened so that you could be freed from these people and situations that were just drowning you. And to be able to look back and say, yeah, now is the time to stand with 2 feet on the ground and have your backbone and be able to say, okay, going forward, what do I want to manifest in my life? What do I want to create and welcome in? And what do I want to give to the world as we go forward, as we emerge from quarantine? Where can I contribute? Am I going to do my job with greater appreciation? Am I going to be kinder to people? Am I going to donate more to charity? Am I going to exercise more? What is it that you can do? And I'll tell you something, when we get caught up into donating to charity because people are without paychecks and whatnot, you could donate $1 and it will still make a difference. You guys, my son, when they were little, we took them to see ballet. We had friends in the ballet company. We took them to see the Orlando Ballet. And the executive director at that time, a really wonderful man, came out on the stage and gave the speech that they give, the fundraising speech. And my son came home. I think he was maybe 5 or 6. And he came home and he says, Mom, I want to make a donation. I want to give money to the ballet. And I said, great. And he had like $1.38 or $3. It was under $5. Okay. So I wrote the check. He gave me his money. I put it back in his savings account, but he gave me the money. I wrote the check and I wrote a letter to Russell, the executive director. I knew him personally at that time. And I wrote him a letter and I said, listen, this is the situation. I know it's a small thing, but I want to honor my son's wishes, and this is what he wants. And so I sent him the money. I sent him a letter. They sent him a beautiful thank you note as if he had donated $1,000. And the next time he saw my son at an event, I made sure that they got to introduce each other. And he fawned all over my son like he had made this huge donation. So you guys, little bit means a lot. It may seem like a little bit to you, but people with class and integrity and who understand that we all row this boat together, they understand that even the donation of a 6-year-old makes a huge difference, because then that child feels appreciated and wants to do more and has that inculcated in his life as he goes forward and wants to be a charitable person because he understands he can make a difference even when he's just one small person. Now he's a giant person, but it makes a huge difference how we treat each other and how we respect each other and how we love on each other and value each other as all being parts of cogs in the wheels of the universe. It makes a huge difference how we know that we must come together in order to heal our world and to move forward as humanity. And if you've heard me talk about the chakras through history, we're still in that throat chakra. This is the time of speaking your truth and really using our voices to come together, especially in this time of quarantine where we can't be face to face. We have to use our voices because it's like the one thing we have. So this is really still in that time of the throat chakra. So understanding that if you're being led to, because there's so many charities that are asking for money right now because these are nonprofits and lost a lot of funding, or they're getting stimulus funding and they lost a lot of donations because people are out of jobs. A little bit makes a big difference. Even if you can donate $1, $5, $10 to your favorite charity, they will be so grateful for it. So please don't shy away from those things. Okay, so hi Shanta. So thanks for joining us. So here's our third card is deep replenishment. And I love this, except she shows up in alignment. Okay, she shows up in alignment, which means she's upside down, which means that we are being reminded that this is a time for us to continue to be focusing on our well-being, our health, our mental health, our physical health, our spiritual health. We are being reminded that we're still in quarantine, maybe for another week, maybe for another 3 weeks. Don't know, depends on where you live and what's going on, but understanding that this is still the time for our own deep replenishment of our soul, of our mind, and our body, get it great, of really understanding that this is still a time of transformation and is still a time for us to reap the benefits of it. And I know some of us are getting a little bit stir crazy in the house, and that's okay. You can go out to have a walk around the yard, or a walk around the block, or take the dogs for a walk. You just can't get with the other people. You can go out in your, to get where the trees are and put your feet in the grass. You don't have to be locked in the couch. You just need to not be where the other people are. Thank you so much, Josette. So good to see you too. Thank you for spending some time. You guys, we are reminded that that we're not done, And I think part of it is not just the stir crazy, but part of it is also the guilt, especially for women. We get the guilt of, I'm not doing enough. I'm sitting around. I'm not doing enough. I need to, self-care for women, especially moms, is like low on the list. And this is the time, this is spring cleaning, but Mother's Day is coming. Take the time for your own self-care. It is so important. We're not done with quarantine yet. And again, even when we come out of quarantine, it's not going to be normal what it was. It's going to be a new normal as we move into the next phase of re-emerging from our society. So you guys, we have a long way to go to finish this Pluto retrograde. It goes till the beginning of October, but we have a long way to go to heal our society. We have a long way to go to recover from the effects of this disease, both physically, emotionally, financially, and in our own safety and security, so that we're not walking around wondering, can I hug that person? Am I going to get cooties from that person? So this is going to take a while, and it's important for us to be patient with ourselves and to be patient with each other. But we were reminded that our goddess this week to keep us grounded in flow is when we don't try to control everything and we allow images and information and allow situations to develop, and we take a breath, we can allow things to develop with the assistance and guidance of the universe. They will always turn out for our benefit. And so when we pulled into the oracle cards, we picked up the very first one was the ever unfolding rose, which reminds us that we have, oh my goodness, from Peru. Thank you for joining us. May 11th. I don't know when we are here in Orlando, in Florida. I think till the 3rd of May. We'll see. But the ever unfolding rose that reminds us that the universe has our back. The universe is in control. And if we will just allow those things to unfold and stay in the flow, we are going to be in such a benefit because the universe absolutely has our back. And when we have our backbone and our star mother, and we put our feet firmly on the ground, and we have the discipline and the strength of character to move forward as we start to leave quarantine, that we are looking at what is best for us as a society, with us as individuals, and being able to put our priorities in place. Because one of the biggest things about this quarantine was asking ourselves what is important to us that we want to carry forward with us as we move out of the quarantine. But remember, the deep self-care, the deep replenishment of really still taking care of yourself so that you're not hitting that, exit from quarantine like a belly flop in a cold pool, just smacking yourself back to some sort of reality. Still, because this was in alignment to remind us we're not done with our self-care. We're not done taking care of ourselves. It's really important so that when we do emerge, we emerge gently. We emerge one step at a time, and we emerge stronger, more replenished, and smarter and more connected to each other than we ever were before. I want to thank you so much. I know I went a few minutes over today. I just had a lot that I felt like I needed to get out. As I looked at the clock, it was 33 minutes and 33 seconds. So I guess that's right where I was supposed to stop channeling whatever they were giving me. I thank you so much for joining me from all quarters of the globe today. I'm so very honored to spend some time with you. Thank you so much for joining me. Follow my page. I'm so excited that we're almost to 600 people on this page. And when we get to that point, I'll give away another 30-minute reading. So if you like this video, share it with a friend, share my page. Thank you so much for spending some time. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay home, follow the guidance of hopefully you're being led by an intelligent elected official, follow the guidance of the leaders in your community, and stay safe, and just know how so very much you are loved. Thank you for spending some time with me today. God bless.